Oh man, it hasn't even been a year since I made that video about raid forums getting shut down and their head administrator, Omnipotent, being arrested in the United Kingdom, and then the feds were trying to extradite him out to the United States to be tried for his cyber crimes. And now, the man who rose to claim the throne after Omnipotent got locked up, the notorious hacker, pompompurin, has been arrested in New York by the FBI, and his hacking forum, Breach Forums, has been temporarily shut down as well. Now, let me give you a little bit of background into who pompompurin was and how he came up in the hacking scene and what eventually led to him getting on the FBI's radar. So the story really begins with Omnipotent and raid forums. So initially, raid forums was used for organizing, well, raids on social media. Basically, people who belonged to one fandom or one site could use this forum as a sort of planning ground to go and do some attack, some mass trolling, flame war, or whatever on an enemy fandom, just early internet shenanigans. But eventually, the kids grew up, and the hijinks started turning into cybercrime, and people needed a place to go and sell the loot that they were getting. This loot would be things like stolen databases that are containing passwords, emails, credit card information, and other personal data. So raid forums' primary purpose became a sort of black market for selling all of this stolen data, hacking software, and things like that. And since this forum gave hackers a way to easily profit from their hijinks, the feds got involved to shut it down. Because even though the owner of raid forums was a Portuguese national that was living in the United Kingdom, a majority of the companies that were being hacked and then having their information sold on the forum were US companies. So of course, the FBI steps in to protect them because the feds are basically like the enforcers for big businesses. If the big businesses are cartels, you could think of the FBI as their sicarios. Now, there's a lot of mistakes that Omnipotent made, being in a 14 eyes country. That was definitely one of them, because even if you don't step foot on US soil, Uncle Sam has a lot of allies. The United Kingdom is one of that allies, and they will be more than happy to arrest you on his behalf and then ship you over with a nice shiny bow on you. And when all of that went down, pompompurin stepped up and he announced breach forums. And since Pom was already well known on raid forums, he had leaked several databases himself, it wasn't really a big deal for people to trust him, especially since he had just done a couple of months earlier his most infamous hack ever, which was taking over an FBI email server, which he then used to send out these hoax messages warning the cybersecurity people of different companies that this hacker named Vinny Troria, who was working with the Dark Overlord gang, was going to hack their systems. Now, Vinny is actually a security researcher who had been getting trolled by pompompurin for a couple of years now. Pom had done some other things kind of funny to bully this guy, like he put his name on, missingkids.org, saying that Vinny was a predator that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was looking for, and, call him if you know anything about him. And Pom also managed to hack Vinny's personal Twitter account, and he used it to send out fake tweets to different reporters, and he DDoSed breachcheck.io, which was a service that Vinny was running for some time. But hacking the FBI's email to troll Vinny, that was probably the funniest hacking feat that Pom has ever pulled off, and maybe one of the funniest hacking feats that any hacker has pulled off. Now, as the head admin of breach forums, Pom was great. he would make sure that the leaks, the stuff that people were posting either for free or to sell, was legit. Because remember, this is a forum where hackers are selling stolen data to other hackers, or scammers might also be buying these databases if they contain names and phone numbers, and so then they can call people up to try to scam them, get them to go and get some Google Play cards. And it would be especially beneficial if there's information in that database that can let them run more of a spear phishing attack. They would probably get a higher conversion rate. But even though this was a black market business that Palm was running, he took it very seriously. And that's probably why Breach Forums was one of the most popular hacking forums for the 1 year that it was up. It got over 300,000 accounts created on it just in that 1 year. But the fun has to end at some point, and for pompompurin, it ended on March 15th when he was arrested in Peekskill, New York. The FBI raided the home of 21-year-old Connor Brian Fitzpatrick, aka pompompurin. And we have these court documents, which have the testimony of one of the agents who arrested him. Yeah, so it says here, when I arrested the defendant on March 15, 2023, he stated to me in substance and in part that A, his name was Connor Brian Fitzpatrick, B, he used the alias pompompurin, and C, he was the administrator of Breach Forums, the data breach website referenced in the complaint. The defendant made these statements after being advised of his rights under Miranda v. Arizona. So that's just the, Miranda rights, everything you say can and will be used against you if the right to remain silent, blah, 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 that cops read you when they arrest you. And a few days later, the Breach Forum site, along with its Onion site and mirrors, went offline. Now, we aren't sure exactly what's going to happen to Palm yet, but I've heard some people speculate that he may be offered a deal to work with the feds in some capacity. That is something that the feds do sometimes, especially in situations where the feds themselves are the ones who got hacked. And Palm did manage to make the FBI's email system send out fake warnings of a cyber attack and make them look pretty stupid. So I don't think it's completely out of the question that the glowies might try to make Palm glow too as a way of, I guess, punishing or, an alternative punishment than going to jail. Because the thing is, even if the feds throw Palm in prison for life, it's not going to make these hackers who sell databases online go away. Palm stepped up to replace Omnipotent, and another hacker by the name of Baphomet has stepped in to fill pompompurin's shoes. Not long after the news of Palm's arrest was posted online, Baphomet locked Palm's account on Breach Forums and pretty much just took over as the head administrator of Breach Forums. The Breach Forums infrastructure, as in their database of people's accounts, posts, as well as the domain and I guess keys to the Onion site, all of that is apparently safe with Baphomet, and he's slowly migrating the site infrastructure over to, I guess, his own stuff so that he can reboot things. And I think he was also going through logs to make sure that the FBI didn't log in as pompompurin or some other user and already start wrecking havoc, because back when Raid Forum's owner, Omnipotent, was arrested, the feds actually ran Raid Forums themselves for a while, presumably to catch more hackers. And I think that that's one of the things that kind of let people off, let people know that something was wrong, is they visited, some people visited the Raid Forum site and it redirected them to a weird login page. I remember pompompurin made a post about that a while back saying that, oh yeah, this is when I knew that something was off. So yeah, Baphomet took over pretty quickly to, I guess, try and prevent something like that from happening. And this was one of the contingency plans that Palm actually mentioned in an interview that he did with databreaches.net, that he had somebody who would take over the site in case he ever got arrested. I don't know if he specifically mentioned that Baphomet would be the person that would take over, but he's definitely taken on that role now. So we'll see how long it takes for Breach to fully reboot. Right now, the sites are down, and the only part of the community that really seems to be alive is the Telegram channel, where they're posting updates. And there's this note that was posted to baf.is the other day by Baphomet, just, I guess, reassuring everybody that things are okay and that he's going to get the community rebooted soon. So we're going to see how solid Baphomet's OPSEC really is once the site is live. Like and comment to hack the algorithm. Free pompompurin, and have a great day.